You've probably heard of Andover and Derby, but what if I told you some of Wichita's best suburbs are the ones no one talks about? Today, I'm ranking every major Wichita suburb from worst to best, and trust me, you're gonna be surprised by what makes the top tier. I'll be using real data on schools, housing, lifestyle, and there's gonna be no fluff, just real information that you need to know. If you're new here, my name is Caleb Clausen, and I've lived in Wichita my entire life. I'm a husband and dad to 3 little girls, and as one of the top real estate agents in the area, I've helped families buy and sell homes across all the communities in this video. This is the ultimate Wichita suburb breakdown you won't find anywhere else. We're going tier by tier from D all the way to S, ranking each suburb across 6 core categories. I'll even share a few hidden gems that most locals don't even know about. Let's dive in. All right, before we get into the rankings, here's how I scored everything. Each suburb is evaluated across 6 weighted categories. First is gonna be schools and education quality. That's gonna make up 25% of their total score, and I looked at district rankings, test scores, and the graduation rates using official state education data. Second is going to be housing and home values. That's also gonna make up 25% of their score. That includes median home prices, appreciation trends, and how affordable it is for the average family to live there. Third is going to be amenities and lifestyle. That's gonna make up 20% of their score. That's gonna include things like parks and restaurants, shopping, and just recreational stuff that makes daily life more fun in the area. Fourth is the location and the accessibility of the community. That's gonna be 15% of the score. I factored in commute times, highway access, and just overall convenience. And finally, the last category is gonna be community and character. That will make up the last 15% of their score. That means stuff like their growth patterns, their community events, and just how the neighborhood actually feels. So with all of that in mind, let's start at the bottom with our D tier suburbs. These are the areas that come with some trade-offs, but also have some opportunity if you know what you're looking for. And D tier doesn't mean like it's a terrible area. It just means that these suburbs might have some challenges that buyers should be aware of. So let's start with the first one, and that is Hayesville. In terms of education, Hayesville, which is USD 262, is unfortunately ranked in the bottom tier statewide, with state data showing that only 19% of students here are proficient in math, compared to the Kansas average of about 30%. But here's the upside. Housing here is actually incredibly affordable. Median home prices sit around $190,000, which makes Hayesville one of the most budget-friendly options in the entire metro area. Amenities are limited though. There's not a ton of shopping, but there are some great community parks, and the town has a proud local feel to it. Location-wise, you're gonna be about 15 minutes south of downtown Wichita, so commuting is pretty reasonable. And the community itself has grown about 10% since 2010, so it's stable, just not booming yet. And quick story, I recently helped a first-time home buyer buy a 3-bedroom home in Hayesville, and it was a pretty new home in the mid 200,000s, which is a deal that's kind of hard to find around town. So the Hayesville does have that going for it. It is very affordable. Next up is going to be Augusta. School-wise, Augusta, which is USD 402, is average. Nothing spectacular, but nothing scary. And the housing market is similar to Hayesville, with the median home price right around $195,000, though much of their housing stock is gonna be a bit older. Now, Augusta does have a cool little historic downtown. They've got a community lake and the old school Augusta Theater, which adds a lot of charm to the area. It's located about 20 minutes east of Wichita, but it's not all highway, so the commute takes about 30 minutes. And growth-wise, it's been basically flat, just about 1% growth since 2010. So if you're looking for big appreciation or new development, this probably isn't it. That being said, if you want a small town charm and a low cost of living, Augusta might be a good fit for you. Let's bump it up a tier. Okay, now we're in the C tier. These suburbs are going to offer a better balance, but they still could come with a couple compromises. And each has a unique strength that might make it a perfect fit for the right buyer. Let's start with Park City. So school quality here is all over the place. Some neighborhoods are gonna be in the Valley Center schools, which is pretty solid, and others in the less desirable districts. So school zoning really does matter here. Housing is a strong point though. Most homes are priced under $250,000, which makes it attractive for first-time home buyers or just anyone on a budget. And here's where things get a little interesting. Park City is actually booming. The Amazon Fulfillment Center that opened in 2021 brought a ton of new jobs, and now they've got new developments in construction like Champtown and the Park Center that are totally going to transform this suburb. Location-wise, it's actually super convenient. They're right off 135, and it's only like 10 minutes to downtown. And it's really cool to see the mayor has been pushing for more business investment, and you can really feel the momentum of this community. With all that said, Park City could absolutely move up in rankings in the next couple of years. And now let's move on to the next one, which is Mulvane. The schools in Mulvane, which is USD 262, are kind of middle of the pack. They're ranked about 135 out of the 286 districts, and homes are affordable around the $215,000 mark on average, with a solid median income of $68,000 a year. Mulvane has got a quiet, small town feel, but it also has the Kansas Star Casino, aka Mul Vegas, and that really put it on the map for a lot of folks. You're also about a 20 to 25 minute drive from Wichita if you hop on the turnpike, and growth in Mulvane has been modest, about 5% since 2010, but it's a peaceful, safe place that a lot of people love to live. Now the next one's a little bit of a wild card, and that is Keachai. Most students in Keachai go to the Wichita USD 259 school district, which honestly ranks pretty low, and that is the biggest downside. But Keachai has a surprisingly affluent population with household income that's over $100,000 a year. And they've been developing this cool arts and business district with glass blowing studios and a community theater, and it's really got this hidden gem vibe to it. Location-wise, you're just north of Wichita and only like 10 minutes from the Northeast shopping centers. It is kind of tiny though, with just under 3,000 people, but it has a big personality. And if the school situation improves, Keachai could definitely climb up in the ranks. All right, let's head up into the B-tier suburbs where things start to get really solid. B-tier suburbs are kind of like your reliable, middle-of-the-line SUVs. They're not super flashy, but they get the job done and people really love them. And the first one in this category is gonna be Rose Hill. The schools in Rose Hill, which is USD 394, rank in the top 50% in Kansas with scores above the state average. Median home prices sit at about $251,000 and incomes are about $91,000 a year. So you're getting pretty good value here. There's not a ton of commercial development, but you've got enough parks and services for everyday life. It's located southeast of Wichita. It's about a 15 to 20 minute commute, and it's grown about 10% over the past decade, making it steady and dependable. It's got that classic small town suburb with a family first type of vibe. Okay, let's go to the next one on this list, and it's actually where I grew up, and that's gonna be Valley Center. Valley Center Schools, which is USD 262, scores overall an 8 out of 10. So obviously that's really strong in this category. Homes in Valley Center are actually pretty reasonably priced, with a median home value around $235,000. Combine that with really good schools, that makes Valley Center a very attractive community. There are some local parks, a farmer's market, and there's plenty of small businesses, but you'll probably head into Wichita for most of your bigger shopping trips. It's about 20 minutes north of downtown Wichita, and it has grown a whopping 25% since 2010, which is a really good sign. Overall, Valley Center is a smart choice for education-focused families that want room to grow. Next up is Bel Air. So education here is going to be the biggest drawback. Most kids are going to attend Wichita USD 259 school district, which is unfortunately ranked 1 out of 10, but a lot of families here opt to go for the private or the magnet school route. That being said, Bel Air is actually a fantastic community. Home prices here average about $258,000 and incomes are over $90K a year. And plus, it's right next to some of Wichita's best shopping areas. Bel Air has grown about 27% since 2010, and it's extremely safe and very family friendly. And if the schools here were just a little bit better, Bel Air would easily make it into the A tier, no question. And speaking of A tier, let's talk about Wichita's top performing suburbs. These are the suburbs that really shine. They've got great schools, strong communities, and just a good quality of life across the board. And the first one in the A tier is going to be Derby. Derby Schools is USD 260, and they're pretty average, just nothing spectacular here. But the homes do average around $258,000, and incomes are about $80K a year. What really sets Derby apart is its amenities. They've got the Rock River Rapids Water Park. They've got over 30 recreational parks, shopping on Rock Road. It's basically its own mini city. It's only located about 10 miles south of downtown Wichita, but the K-15 traffic can kind of be a pain during rush hour. But still, Derby grew about 22% in the last decade, and it really feels like its own self-contained community. So if you want big amenities without living in the city, Derby's hard to beat. Now let's move on to the next one. That's going to be Mays. Mays is USD 266, and it ranks in the top 20 to 30% statewide with a 95% graduation rate, which is really solid. Homes are priced around $277,000, which is not cheap for the area, but you're paying for the school district. It's close to New Market Square and the YMCA, plus a lot of other fun stuff like the Mays splash pad. Commute time is about 20 to 25 minutes from downtown Wichita, and Mays saw a 97% growth over the last decade, which is insane. So with all that growth, it's really got that new suburb energy and families are loving it. Next in the A tier is Goddard, which is USD 265, and it's a top tier 95% graduation rate, ranked in the top 20% in all of Kansas. Homes in Goddard average about $282,000, and there's been a ton of new construction in the area. And if you haven't seen it yet, Goddard is now home to the $35 million Blast-Off Bay Indoor Water Park and Hotel. Plus, restaurants and retail are kind of picking up for the area. It's located about 10 miles west of Wichita. Commutes can kind of bottleneck on US 54 during peak hours, but it is manageable. Goddard has grown 25% since 2010, and it's only getting stronger. Great schools, great development, it's kind of hard to argue. But there is one suburb that beats them all. Now let's move up to the S tier, which is going to be the cream of the crop, and there's one suburb in this category, and that's going to be Andover, Kansas. Andover is USD 385, and it is the #1 school district in all of the Wichita metro area, and it makes it into the top 5% statewide. Test scores here completely crush the Kansas averages, and housing has a median home price of around $300,000, with a good range between $175,000 and $450K. And historically, Andover homes have appreciated extremely steadily. Andover is packed with amenities, Central Park with 80 acres of green space, a YMCA, a golf course, and the Capitol Federal Amphitheater that sits 10,000 people. Not bad for a town of this size. You're only like a mile from Wichita with typical commutes about 15 to 20 minutes. You've got quick access to US 54 and K96, and the community grew about 40% in the last decade. And the infrastructure is legit. Great roads, top-notch emergency services, and even a state-of-the-art library. Andover really does just check every box, so if you can afford it, it's kind of the full package. But hey, let's not sleep on the hidden gems. A couple of those I already mentioned are gonna be Keachai, which is developing that artsy vibe that could make it a cultural hub if schools improve. Park City has economic tailwinds and exciting developments with Champtown and Park Center. Rose Hill is quietly one of the best values in the entire metro. And then there are suburbs like Belle Plaine and Benton, perfect for folks who want that rural suburban blend with lower costs and a little more space. So there you have it, from Andover's elite schools to Derby's all-in amenities. Each suburb has its own strengths, and it really depends on what matters most to your family. And just a couple quick recommendations for you. If schools are your top priority, you're gonna wanna go with Andover, Mays, or Goddard. If you want amenities and convenience, Derby might be your best bet. But if you're looking for affordability with good schools, try Valley Center or probably Rose Hill. But truly, if you want the best mix of everything, it's going to be Andover if it fits the budget. But I can tell you I've personally helped families find homes in every one of these suburbs, and the key really is matching your needs to the right community. So if you're looking to buy or sell in the Wichita area, I'd love to help. Just shoot me an email or text me, and my information will be down in the description below, and I'd love to help you get started. And if you enjoyed this video, would you please like this video and consider subscribing, and I will bring you new and exciting Wichita news every single week. So with that, I will catch you on the next video.